Welcome back to MSNBC on a Sunday afternoon, and we turn now to the problem of illiteracy. As graduation nears for so many high school seniors, some are questioning their readiness for higher education. NBC's Gwen Ifill has the story.
Tracy Watson never thought her freshman year in college would include a high school writing course. But like 1/3 of the members of her freshman class at the University of Memphis, she graduated from high school without many of the basic skills she needed for college.
Do you feel like high school didn't prepare you as it should have?
I don't feel like high school didn't prepare me. I feel like I should have studied more than I did.
And Tracy was an honor roll student.
High school students are playing catch-up when they get to college. In Tennessee last year, the state spent $25 million teaching reading, writing, and math skills, fundamentals they should have learned when they were in high school.
The U.S. Department of Education estimates that nearly half of all college students, about 6 million of them, take at least one remedial course during college. Providing those classes, in effect reteaching students what they should have learned, costs state-run schools, colleges, and junior colleges a total of $1 billion a year. A $1 billion bill for taxpayers. What's wrong? Educators cite 3 major reasons. High school graduation standards have dropped, students are less motivated, and colleges have altered, some say lowered, their academic standards to accommodate them.
It's only been 12 years since I graduated high school, but I can see a lack of motivation today. My failure rates are much higher than I would like to see them.
It's supposed to be a good thing to increase the number of students who get to attend college, but broadening the pool of students in the name of diversity or opportunity may have had an unintended result.
Rather than increasing our standards and expectations for all students and lifting all people up, we were sort of lowering our expectations in order to incorporate more people, and that was a wrong-headed response.
Some critics, including legislators in Texas, California, and Tennessee, say taxpayers are paying too much.
We've got a kind of no-fault, no responsibility, buck-passing education system in which we're paying for things twice, and nobody's willing to stand up and take responsibility for quality control.
Or perhaps an education system that must come to grips with the notion that sending everyone to college costs more than just money. Gwen Ifill, NBC News, Memphis.
And joining us now to talk about this is Joe Little from the American Literacy Council, a nonprofit organization devoted to fighting illiteracy for more than 100 years. Now, illiteracy is a growing problem. About 27 million Americans, or 1 out of 5 adults, are functionally illiterate with reading skills below the 8th grade level. And an additional 40 million adults have reading levels below the 12th grade level. Hi, Joe. Thanks a lot for being with us.
Bridget.
First of all, from what I was reading, illiteracy is not just a matter of not being able to read. How do you define it?
It's being able to write and to spell and to read what you need to write and spell and read in order to get through a given day, a given week, reading a label on a medicine bottle, filling out an application for employment, those kinds of things, basic level. And of course there are different levels of literacy for different professions, different careers.
But basically what you need to be able to get along in your daily life.
That's right.
Now, you know, the numbers that we just gave our viewers are really, they seem quite high. Why are they?
Oh, there's a variety of reasons. We have, oh goodness, as good as MSNBC is, there probably is too much TV watching in the United States. Oh, the list goes on and on. Drug abuse, the family breakdown. One of the things that is largely overlooked is English spelling. I love English, but the spelling of English leaves a lot to be desired.
Are you saying that a lot of people are illiterate because English is a difficult language to master?
Especially the spelling, because that's what we read, that's what we write, that's what we spell, and that's the stumbling block in a lot of cases. That's the underlying root.
Because it's difficult. I know you talk to people for whom English is not the first language, they'll tell you that, but I mean, you would think that this is stuff that kids have been learning since they were, what, 4, 5, 6 years old. You brought in a prop here, and now tell us how you use this. Is this a teaching aid, or? It
can be. It can be. It just shows a little bit of the illogic and the irregularity of English spelling, what we're all up against, and how it's kind of a little tiny miracle that any of us become literate. Take, for instance, the word bomb. B-O-M-B is bomb. Well, then T-O-M-B, is that Tom? No, that's tomb. Well, then C-O-M-B Is that comb or comb? No, that's comb, C-O-M-B, comb. C-O-M-B, comb. Well, then H-O-M-B, home. No, that's H-O, you see, with an M, with an E, home. H-O-M-E, home. Well, then S-O-M-E, some. No, that's some, S-O-M-E, some. Well, then one couple more. N-O-M-E, numb. No, that's N-U with an M with a B. The whole thing, you can see it coming down Fifth Avenue, is D-U-M-B, dumb. And that's what we have to overcome, whether we're native speakers of English, whether we're ESL, English as a second language learners. Either way, that's that's the underlying root of all of
It might
literacy.
be difficult, but it's not really an excuse.
No, not at all, not at all. There are, again, people grow up in homes where there aren't a lot of books, there isn't a lot of reading. You don't see much of the printed word, so they get to kindergarten and first grade and so forth, and it's a new phenomenon. And you see that, for instance, Barbara Bush says, read to your child. And that's a great idea. So we would push that in a big way.
And yet, you know, it seems that our society is so advanced now that we are at the stage where we're talking about getting a computer in every classroom. And as wonderful as that might be, has that been any sort of hindrance into teaching the spoken and written word?
A lot of computers in the classroom, is that a hindrance?
Yeah, in any way. I mean, is there too much focus on technology and not enough of focus on literacy?
Well, you can have a computer for every child, and if the child doesn't know how to write or read or spell, then it doesn't do them much good. A lot of the things that you see on a computer is graphics. You see a lot of graphics, and if we dummy down the computer software to have just graphics, then a lot of people can take advantage of computer technology. But if you have a lot of literacy in the computer technology, then a lot of people are lost. So it doesn't hinder it, but it's a good idea to focus on reading and writing and spelling skills all throughout the school levels.
And is there, and speaking of school levels, as we mentioned in NBC correspondent Gwen Ifill's report, that a lot of kids apparently are going to college finding themselves unprepared. Is that a big problem?
Well, I hear from that story that the University of Memphis did a test, a writing test for their incoming freshmen, and 1/3 of them, just in terms of writing skills, weren't supposed to be in college. Just in terms of writing skills, they weren't ready to do the kind of work that college involves, and college level classes involve. So the literacy skills are not being taught at the lower levels.
So what do we do to overcome all this?
That's a good question. Well, there are national organizations to call. You know, so much of it does involve parents. So much of it does involve friends. You know, are you teaching your children? Are you reading to them at night? Are you having a lot of books and magazines in the home? Are you looking at what they're doing at their homework? Are you working with them? If that's not being done, then a lot of it is remedial later on in life, and that's where we get some of the national literacy organizations, Laubach Literacy and Literacy Volunteers.
All right, so home is always a good place to start. All right, Joe, I know you're going to stick around with us for a while. We're going to be talking with our MSNBC contributors coming up after break, and in a little while, we're also going to be taking your phone calls. Make sure you stay with us. You're watching MSNBC. We'll be right back.